It's June already, which means we are halfway to Christmas again, so it's time to fill up your Steam wishlists. Luckily, June's got multiplayer gifts wrapped and ready. From day one releases on the Nintendo Switch 2 to Sandworms, Supernatural Firefighters, and a football game that might actually surprise you. So round up your squad because these co-op picks are too good to go solo. And we're starting into this June with a game that really taps into different aspects of what makes co-op gaming so special. If you're a fan of the platforming and puzzle aspects in It Takes Two, but want something more laid back and welcoming for all ages and skill levels, Popocom might be right up your alley. Because this one is built entirely around cooperation, teamwork and casual fun. There is a story mode that supports 2 players. Here, you only need one copy of the game to play, either in local split screen or online via Steam Remote Play together. The Adventure Party mode allows up to 4 players in online co-op to jump in together. Just a heads up though, there's no online matchmaking, so you'll need to bring your own crew. Each player can customize their own character with a range of cute outfits and cosmetics. Most of these seem to be earnable through in-game activities or as a launch bonus. We found no mention of microtransactions. The gameplay revolves around a color blaster gun, similar to Splatoon, where you will switch between colors, use paint gel to solve puzzles in a match 3 style and take down enemies along the way. So it's actually a shooter, a cuter shooter. To mix things up, there are also artifacts that grant special powers, and when you're ready for a break from saving the planet, the in-game arcade is packed with various mini-games. Popocom looks perfect for some family-friendly fun, or a light-hearted co-op adventure for rainy summer days. Just be mindful that maybe the puzzles and fights might be too easy if you're a seasoned gamer. On June 5th, Nintendo is launching the Switch 2, its next-gen console and probably the most co-op-focused system they have ever made. Beyond the hardware bump, this thing is clearly built for playing with others. Local multiplayer is a core feature again, not just on one console, but also across multiple locally. There's now built-in game chat with noise cancelling, usable wherever you take the system, because yes, the Switch 2 is obviously portable again as well. A new optional feature called Camera Play shows your friends' faces next to their characters during online matches, and can even be used across several games, similar to external video inputs on other consoles. The camera isn't built in though, it's sold separately for around $55. Not exactly revolutionary, but it's Nintendo finally catching up in ways that actually matter for social gaming. And if you're thinking about what you will actually be playing on launch day, we've got you covered. We've got the usual Switch-style ports like Civilization 7, Street Fighter 6 and even Split Fiction. But this time they are joined by a few exclusive multiplayer titles launching right alongside them. If your racing style resembles a lost tourist more than a driver, you will feel right at home in our first exclusive. Mario Kart World has a whole map to get lost in, conveniently justifying your unique steering skills. Mario Kart World is the most ambitious entry in the series to date, not in terms of speed or spectacle, but in how it rethinks the racing structure. Instead of isolated tracks selected from a menu, this game presents a continuous, fully interconnected world. Each course exists as part of a seamless map, and in free roam mode, you can simply drive from one to the next without ever seeing a loading screen. It's the beloved Mario Kart formula reimagined as an open-world adventure, featuring a mix of classic and brand new tracks scattered across a vast digital globe. Early speculations have identified about 29 tracks, with more to be revealed on launch. And there are not only a lot of tracks, but also a lot of competition, with up to 24 players in online co-op. There is now weather that changes mid-race, affecting visibility and adding some unpredictability. Riding your vehicles on rails grants you boosts. Tony Hawk would be proud, but we will miss you, dash panels. The game also uses 2 of the new console features, Game Chat and Camera Play, to enjoy your friends' screams and facial expressions when you hit them with that sweet blue shell. Of course, some aspects might land better than others. Without the part-by-part vehicle customization of its predecessor, there is less fine-tuning. And while the seamless world is a technical flex, it remains to be seen how much the free roam mode actually adds to the game. Finally, there's the price. $80 for the game on its own, or $500 bundled with the Nintendo Switch 2. It's a steep price for a game, especially since it yet has to prove how it truly sets itself apart from Mario Kart 8. If you still want something co-op-y to celebrate the arrival of your newest family member, the Switch 2, then this next game might not only be quite a bit cheaper, but also offer more cooperation than competition. Survival Kids starts out a little like Lord of the Flies. You know, the novel where a couple of children are stranded on an island, but thankfully that's all they have in common. This is a survival game, originally released back in 1999 on the Game Boy Color, which makes it not quite the first survival game, but one of the more influential ones. The series later continued under the Lost in Blue name, but it all started here. What makes Survival Kids stand out is how accessible it is. You still gather, craft, fish, cook, build a shelter, and explore. All the staples are here, but it skips the usual survival game grind. There is no overwhelming inventory management or needlessly complex crafting. You just collect what you need and get on with it. That simplicity extends to the interface and controls too. Everything's easy to learn, easy to use. And comparing it with similar kids do survival games, nothing will scare you just as hard as a wolf spider chasing you through Grounded. It's all bright and friendly. There's a bit of background story if you want it, but no strict path to follow. You are free to explore, survive, and play however you like. Launching June 10th, Dune Awakening throws you into the brutal survival sandbox of Arrakis, unless you're willing to pay around $20 extra for advanced access, in which case you can jump in 5 days earlier. But even if you thought you already knew what this massive open world had to offer, don't check out just yet. We have finally got new info on mid and end game content, and it's looking a lot deeper than expected. At its core, Dune is a large-scale multiplayer survival game. You will still be gathering, crafting, and building your base. But that's just the beginning. Early on, the game is focused on getting you up to speed with its systems and the world of Dune. But as you move into the mid-game and beyond, the focus shifts to more and more political topics. And, of course, spice. In the latest developer livestream, Funcom revealed more about what that actually looks like. The mid-game opens up more systems, including buggies, large inventory vehicles capable of mining. Then, there are interesting new landscapes like the deep Hagar Rift and the city hub of Arrakeen with its fast travel system. But it's the endgame that really raises the stakes. All players across all servers are part of one single shared world, influenced by the Landsraad, the political system that lets factions like House Atreides and House Harkonnen compete for power. Guilds can complete assignments to earn votes for their faction, including tasks that completely avoid PvP if you do not enjoy that. Control the Landsraad and your faction gets to vote on a decree. These come with serious perks, like exclusive access to powerful weapon dealers. But the heart of it all is spice, found in small amounts in safe zones and much larger quantities in the deep desert. That's also where the real conflict happens. Open world PvP, dynamic objectives, and complete map resets every week thanks to Coriolis storms. You will see violet clouds on the horizon. That's your cue to move fast. One interesting twist, in the deep desert, names and guild tags are turned off, and friendly fire is always on. So, unless you're really in sync with your team, accidents will happen. You could also technically sneak into an enemy base if you manage to blend in well enough. There's still no confirmed console release date, but it's not expected until later this year. If you want to hear more of our thoughts on Dune's multiplayer aspects, check out our video on it later. On June 17th, you can return to the world of Control or step into the strange shifting halls of the oldest house for the first time in FBC Firebreak. And this time, you don't even have to go alone. A big plus if you get lost in otherworldly levels easily. Not because the enemies called Hiss can be really scary. This stays between us. Firebreak is a co-op FPS designed around 3-player squads. And how well they work together. You will choose from 3 Crisis Kits, basically your class and loadout in one. The Jump Kit focuses on mobility and crowd control. The Fix Kit keeps tech running and staggers enemies. And the Splash Kit extinguishes fires and cleanses corrupted allies. Strategically, it makes sense to bring one of each kit, but in the end, you are free to choose whatever you like. You might just have a harder time. Weapons and grenades are not part of a kit, so you're free to choose. As you progress, you will unlock perks that allow for even more customization and unique builds. There's also an in-game currency called Requisition, which you earn just by playing. You will use it to unlock gear, equipment, and cosmetics. There will also be premium cosmetics available for real money, purely visual, so they won't affect gameplay. Unless, of course, you're on a mission to impress. If you don't have a full group of 3, no problem. Matchmaking is built in. The missions in Firebreak are called jobs. Each one has its own setting, objective, and supernatural hazards, with progression through 3 zones. The deeper you go, the tougher it gets, until you reach the heart of the crisis, where things get really weird, in a good way. But this also leads to one concern: content depth. While it sounds very replayable, mission variety and long-term challenge will be key. Also, even with matchmaking, coordinated trios will probably always have a better experience than solo players. If you have had your fair share of football sims and would rather get your hands or feet dirty than watch AI do the work, this one might actually score some points. Slowclap, the studio behind Sifu and Absolver, is shifting from martial arts to football. In Rematch, you control a single player from a third-person perspective, emphasizing individual skill and teamwork. The game features 3v3, 4v4 and 5v5 modes, including a ranked 5v5. Matches are continuous, no fouls, no offsides, and the ball never leaves play. Whether that's a design choice for fluidity or a clever way to skip foul logic is yours to decide. The gameplay encourages strategic positioning and quick decision-making. Players can switch roles during matches, including goalkeeping, and use stamina-based speed boosts to spice things up. Rematch supports online multiplayer with plans for seasonal content updates, including new modes and cosmetics. An offline mode with AI teammates is expected in 2026. While the game has got a lot of attention with over 100,000 concurrent players during its open beta, some may find the lack of traditional football rules not to their liking. However, for those seeking a team-based, skill-driven, and co-op-centric football experience that emphasizes teamwork over traditional simulations, Rematch offers a compelling alternative. And it looks great. Our final entry for this month calls itself an RTS, but with so much customization, we are half surprised you can't paint your waifu on the fighter jet. Launching on June 19, Broken Arrow is a large-scale, real-time tactics game that blends the depth of military simulation with the immediacy of RTS combat. At its core, Broken Arrow emphasizes combined arms operations across expansive, realistic battlefields. Players can deploy over 300 units, including infantry, tanks, helicopters, aircrafts, and more. The game's detailed customization system allows modification of specific components of all these units, such as weapons, armor, and sensors, resulting in more than 1,500 possible combinations. Multiplayer is a significant aspect, featuring 5v5 matches designed for balanced competitive play. Custom lobbies support various configurations from 1v5 to 5v5, allowing players to host matches with unbalanced teams or mixed factions. The game also emphasizes joint forces operations, requiring players to effectively combine different unit types and specializations to outmaneuver opponents. Co-op PvE scenarios are also available, offering scripted operations with unique objectives and constraints. However, while the game offers depth and customization, the complexity may be daunting for newcomers to the genre. Additionally, the balance between realism and accessibility is a delicate one, which may affect the learning curve. But that's all for June's releases. We hope you found your next highlight to play. Have fun out there in co-op with your favorite people, and we will see you again in the next one.